Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again this week here with Serene Labs on Facebook Live. Today we have two very special guests. We have Sagiv Zeltzer, the hardware director, and Lior David, the software team leader here at Serene. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
So Sagiv,
Yeah.
please tell us a bit about yourself and what you do here at Serene Labs.
Okay, so I'm Sagiv. I'm leading all the hardware design at Serene Labs. I'm here from day one or even day zero. I was here to build all the hardware department, build all the company, and was very active in the development of our very successful Solarin phone. Very proud of this phone. And now we are going to work hard to bring you the Fini phone.
Wonderful. And Lior, tell us a bit about your experience and what you do here.
Hi, I'm Lior David. I'm a software engineer and lead one of the software teams that we have here in Serene. I've been in the industry more than 15 years. I'm here in Serene for 3.5 years, leading the development of Solarin, mostly in Android. Now we're preparing to the Fini phone. Already started two interesting projects. We're anxious to get it started and see it on Fini.
Great. We're happy to have both of you here to talk about hardware and software. Thanks to everyone who has joined us. Please go ahead and send in your questions for Leo and Sagiv about hardware and software regarding the Fini phone. Let's jump right in and ask some questions we've received on our very popular Telegram channel. One is Serene Labs planning to implement an Apple Pay similar functionality in the Fini?
Okay, so we're not going to have an exactly the same Apple Pay service using the NFC, but we do have a plan to release an SDK for developers that will be able to develop very similar apps that work with our seamless conversion project. If I'll elaborate a little bit more about it, then our seamless conversion will allow apps that are developed by third parties to require payment with certain cryptocurrencies, like even with SRN or status like cryptocurrency that you don't have in your wallet on your device. And with that service, the application will connect to with our SDK. The application will connect to our service, and we'll be able to swap between the currencies that you do have in your wallet and pay the application with another cryptocurrency. So in that way, you will actually have a seamless conversion payment service.
Okay. Want to say hi to Takahiro, who has just joined us. Thank you. We appreciate your support. If you have any questions, please send them in for Leo and Sagiv about hardware and software. Now, guys, we're talking about cryptocurrencies with this Fini, and one question that we are asked many, many times is there a backup service for the recovery of the wallet and data if the Fini gets lost or stolen?
Yeah, so actually the Fini wallet will be the same as all state-of-the-art hardware wallets. You will have the possibility, of course, to back up and restore your currency. In the case of the Fini, if it will get lost or if it get broken. Yeah, so the answer is yes.
And Chandra has joined us on Facebook and asks, do current apps work on Android or iOS?
Sure, Fini will be an Android-based phone, so all the Android apps will work on Fini.
Okay, can you talk a little bit more about how all of the apps, if people are very familiar with Android or have been using Apple, how all of those apps will work for them on the Fini phone?
Yeah, so as Sagi said, the Fini phone will run Android. Will run Oreo or even the later version after Oreo. So every app that is compatible with working on the Oreo device from Android will work on Fini. So that means actually every app that runs on Android will be able to run on Fini.
Okay, and Adam's asking a question: will there ever be an iOS version of Fini?
So we're not planning on working on iOS for Fini. The plan is to release a smartphone running Android, and later on an all-in-one PC that runs the same OS, Fini OS, that is based on Android.
Will Sirin Labs partner with telecom operators and integrate them with Sirin Labs blockchain ecosystem?
Yeah, so actually, Sirin Labs is, we are in discussion with several operators. This is something that we still cannot elaborate on. Of course, it will be great if we will partner with one or several operators, and once we have any news about that, then we'll be happy to share with you. But rest assured that Fini device will be able to work all over the world with most of the operators, almost all the operators, like any other GMA phone, and of course, like our Solari.
Okay, so if I have a Fini and I'm in Russia and I travel to Mexico and I want to buy a local or rent a local SIM card in Mexico, I'll be able to still use my Fini?
Yeah, of course.
Great. Okay. JS has a question for us. If I buy the phone on Sirin Labs Shop in London, can I pay in pounds or only in SRN? It's not really a software or hardware question, but one that we're asked quite often. Can you address that, guys?
Yeah, so in order to buy Fini, you will need to pay with SRNs.
Okay. And Chandra has a follow-up question. What makes a difference between Android and iOS and the Sirin OS?
Okay, so Android and iOS are smartphone operating systems. We're taking Android and we're doing a little customization of our own to add our services to increase the level of security. And that's mainly the difference between Sirin OS and a plain Android OS version.
And of course, all the blockchain applications like the peer-to-peer sharing and all the other support of all our apps.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to as Sirin services. Yes.
Okay.
One question that we get asked a lot on social media is, when can we see any software hardware in a pre-alpha or pre-beta version?
Okay, so as you know, Fini is planned to be released later on this year. We're talking about end of Q3, beginning of Q4. So I guess that a little bit before the release date, or several months before the release date, we can have a beta that we can show you, and I'm sure you will like it and be very excited about it.
Great. Thanks to everyone who's joining us now. We see several more people following us here on Facebook Live, and lots of questions coming in at once. Want to try to get to all of your questions today. Christopher asks, will there be a desktop wallet until the launch of the devices to store the SRN token, or does the desktop PC have one?
So there's no plans to have a desktop wallet for that. You will have to use your Fini to store your crypto. And this is actually what we're trying to save people the bother of connecting their hardware wallet with a USB cable to the desktop, and just use the device that they're storing in their pocket instead of the PC.
Okay. And we have a question and a comment, one that a lot of people have taken notice of the past day. I think it's pronounced Megraj. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It's about the specs. Why have your specs changed? You downgraded the spec on the phone. I just want to make a point to note that we'll mention this again at the end of our Facebook Live broadcast today, that we will have a poll. We want to hear from everyone in the community, like you, like all of you joining us here on Facebook Live. talking about what's important to you with our tech specs. So stay tuned. We'll have more information about where you can find that poll, but please know that it's coming. Can you guys talk just quickly about the specs?
Yeah, so as you know, there is a contradiction between spec and BOM price. So when we thought about BOM price and about the memories, that is the main that was the main issue that was discussed yesterday. So we thought about minimizing a little bit the ROM and the RAM. So as Yolanda said, we'll have a poll to better understand what are the main features that you guys are more interested in, because we want to make a phone that will suit the audience. So you will help us make history. So stay tuned for the poll, and then you'll get an updated spec.
Okay, so follow up with that, Sagiv. You said there's a difference between the tech specs and the bump price. What is that?
The price of making the phone.
Price of making the phone. Okay, great. Thank you for clearing that up for us. We have a question about CPUs. What CPU will Affinity be using, if you can tell that information?
Yeah. So we cannot disclose the chipset that we will use in the Fini yet. Stay tuned. We will disclose it in a little bit. But I can tell you that you will be very, very pleased with the chipset decision that we made. It's going to be, as you know, as we said all the way, a tier 1 major chipset vendor. You'll be very pleased with that, and stay tuned for our announcement.
Okay, so in that same vein, there's a comment that Apple devices have been impacted with CPU flaws and have started to release different updates to tackle those flaws. What will Sirin do if we're ever presented with such a case?
Yeah, so of course, so we plan to release monthly security patches in order to stay up to date with all the security. So this will be the same in case that there will be a major flaw and that will be discovered. We will absolutely release a software patch that will fix that as soon as possible, like any other big phone manufacturer.
Okay.
And just like we did with the Solar9.
Exactly.
Great. Okay, Sai has a question about the smartphone battery. Do you think the first version will have a one-day battery backup?
What do you mean a one-day battery backup? If it will last one day, so yeah, we aim for that. We aim for a very long battery lifetime. It will be a combination of power, performance, and of battery size, and of course on choosing the right components.
Drew asks if he has a crypto in his cold storage wallet on the phone, on the Fini, and if the phone falls into a black hole or gets run over, or it drops in a lake, in water, whatever horrible thing happens to the wonderful Fini phone of his, what happens to his crypto? How can he recover it? And in that same vein, will the Fini be waterproof?
Okay, so of course it's the same as if you use your current hardware wallet and it gets run by a car. Of course, and as we said earlier, you can recover your crypto wallet in one of the ways that there are. And regarding the waterproof, we will be you won't be able to swim with your phone, but it will be for some account waterproof. Yeah.
That's really good to hear. So again, we have lots of people joining us here on Facebook Live. Thank you for having all your questions. Please keep them coming. Lior, you've talked about the token swap project previously. Can you share with our viewers a bit more about exactly what that is?
Yeah, so basically it's a service that allows you to swap between cryptocurrencies and check with the balance of cryptos that you have in your wallet, and provide you with a easy way to exchange between cryptocurrencies. So if you want to do that today, you have to use either some services that wallets are having that are very expensive and takes lots of time. And or you can do it yourself. Then you go to one account, switch the sell crypto and buy another crypto, and it'll take you time and it'll take you commissions. So what we aim to do is offer inside the wallet service that exchange between cryptocurrencies, and even better than that, to open that for application developers that will be able to use that as an SDK. So if I'm developing an app that requires payment with some currency, it will be able to talk with our service and swap from your wallet balances an amount that will be converted to the currency that your app is asking.
Chandra is very loyal, watching us today and asking lots of questions. One that you might be able to answer for Chandra is, how do you see the current Android mobile manufacturers adopting Sirin OS?
Yeah, so that's the one of our major goals, is to open OS, to provide a clear and easy SDK, and for app vendors to adopt our SDK very easily. We have experience with that, working on the Solarin, knowing the Android internals very well. We know what is needed for another OEM or a device vendor to easily adopt an OS and changes in Android OS. So I believe we can do a very good job in this field and provide a very easy way for OEMs to adopt our OS. And we already see some interest from some vendors. Cannot disclose that as well, but I believe it would be a very positive future for that.
Okay. Speaking of that, so can you guys try to clarify some things for people who may not understand and who are also just now joining us here on Facebook Live? Because David Martin's asking, says, thought Sirin was using the Android OS.
Yeah, so we are using the Android OS, but we are doing some customization on the Android OS. We're increasing the level of security. We're using more features from the chipset that not been used by other devices. And it requires some effort from our side and from our manufacturer. And we're adding services and system applications like the wallet application and like the seamless conversion application. These will be apps that will be deeply integrated into the OS. We'll have to use system permissions from the Android that we will have to create for them. So these are the main changes that we're doing on the Android OS, and making it from a basic Android OS to Sirin OS.
And when do you plan on releasing the SDK so that developers can begin app development?
Yeah, so we're trying to be as open source as possible without disclosing secrets and patents, but we're going to work as open source and release the SDK through the process of development. So you will see very soon the first parts of it, and we'll see it growing as an open source.
Can you talk a bit more about the chipset?
So, as I said, it's going to be one of the very best chipsets out there in the market. At this moment, I cannot disclose anymore.
And we've talked about it before, but for those who are just joining now, because it is a popular question, people are very excited about the Fini. When can people see any type of prototype?
Okay, so as we said, prototyping will be along the way. The release date of Fini is end of Q3, beginning of Q4. As we said, some alpha or beta releases will be several months before that, and prototypes will be several months before that. We'll be happy to share it with you once we have it.
Guys, love to hear from both of you about projects that you're working on and your very favorite projects and your vision for Syrian Labs, what you're doing here with hardware and software. Leo?
Yes. Okay. So another project that we're working here is the cold storage wallet, and we're designing the hardware and software right on these days, finalizing it in terms of architecture, and we already have a team that's working on the Android application that will connect with the wallet. We'll show you the balances and we'll support many of the top cryptocurrencies that exist in the market. I think that's one of our pillar project. Putting the best people that we have, and even bringing new people to that project. And it'll be very exciting to work with another piece of hardware that is not seen on regular devices.
And Sagiv, how about you? What is your favorite project that you're working on here at Syrian Labs that you can actually share with everyone?
Yeah, so currently we are working very hard on making all the phone, making the phone together. We're working on the industrial design, working on the mechanical design, choosing components. Very excited, very interesting. And as said, once we'll have more information, we'll be happy to share with you. I'm sure you will be pleased and will be very happy and very excited to put your hands on Fini.
Great. So we've kind of exhausted all of the questions that are coming in on Facebook Live. One of the things that we do want to stress again is that we really appreciate the support and love that we get from the community. We do take your opinions very seriously. We do appreciate your feedback, your comments, your input. And in that same vein, we want to continue to hear from you. We're talking about hardware and software, and of course, that gets into tech specs. After this Facebook Live broadcast, very shortly, you will be receiving on Facebook, our Twitter, all of our social media, and also in a newsletter, a poll where you can make your opinions and your voice heard about which tech specifications are most important to you, especially as we look at the price of the Fini and what we're able to reasonably offer everyone who is interested in getting their hands on one and being a pioneer as we lead blockchain to the masses and start the evolution and the revolution. So please stay tuned to social media and your email inboxes. You'll be receiving the information about the poll later today. Please participate and share your insights. Christopher has a question about the battery life as well. Can you estimate how long it will take, how long it will last in standby mode and with maximum use?
Yes, I can tell you that our goal is that you will not have to use your charger during your day. So our goal is that you will go out of your house with the phone and not need to use your charger until you go back at the evening. This is our goal, and this is what we can say right now. When we'll have more, then we'll be happy to share. We'll be happy to hear from you. What is more important to you? This is in the poll that Yolanda said. Is battery life more important than any other parameters? Are any other parameters more important than battery life? And of course, you cannot have it all in the phone, so we'll be happy to optimize the phone performance based on your answers on our poll.
Roy, we're happy that you were able to join us. We actually asked you a question earlier, but we'll go over it again just for you and everyone else who's recently joined us here. The question again was about the CPU and how Apple devices have had some flaws and what we will do here at Syrian in case we ever encounter such a thing in the future.
Okay, Roy, so just for you a recap. So we cannot disclose the chipset yet, but you will be very, very pleased with the chipset that we chose once we will disclose it. Stay tuned for that. Regarding the flows, so like any other phone manufacturer, we will release a patch immediately to fix any flaws that will show up. And this is, of course, in addition to our monthly patch releases for security updates. So your Fini phone will stay fully secured throughout your entire use.
Thank you, Sagiv and Roy. Happy that you were able to join us. Faisal has a question. When will the phone be released?
Phone will be released end of Q3, beginning Q4 this year.
Okay. And the app SDK, is it going to require learning a new program language, or is it going to be compatible with existing languages?
Yeah, we're writing the SDK with Android tools. I mean, Android, Java, Kotlin. So if you're familiar with those languages and you developed Android apps lately, so you'll be able to easily work with our SDK.
Great. Thank you everyone for joining us here on Facebook Live. We really appreciate having you join us. We are running out of time for today, but you can join us again next week at this exact same time. If you missed any part of the Q&A that we've had, you are, of course, able to watch the recorded version on Facebook. And again, we will have a poll that will be available across our social media and in your inboxes with our newsletter. The poll focuses on tech specs and what's important to you as we look at what we are able to deliver at a very reasonable price, trying to make everyone happy as we bring blockchain to the masses. Thanks again for joining us. Sagiv, Leo, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll see you again next week.